Caitlin Clark is rewriting the rules of engagement. As one of the brightest talents in women's sports, Clark's transition from college sensation to professional powerhouse has been electrifying. But this journey has also come with its share of trials from opponents who have turned the game into a battlefield of intimidation. In the WNBA, rookies are often tested, yes, but CC's challenges have gone beyond the norm. She has faced a wave of aggression from opponents who seem determined to intimidate her, employing direct challenges aimed at derailing her meteoric rise. But this is where the story takes a captivating turn. Clark doesn't shrink back, she shines brighter. Each game against her becomes a showcase of her resilience and ability to rise above the pettiness and hostility aimed at her. Pushed to her limits, she has decided to push back, turning the attempts to suppress her into opportunities to excel. And with a mix of finesse and fearless play, she is demonstrating that bullies cannot deter her, they only make her stronger. But to fully understand this story, we need to look at its origins, okay? After being drafted as the #1 pick by the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark found a home. But as she transitioned from college to the WNBA, the challenges she faced were not just about adapting to the professional game's higher level of physicality. They were more personal, more targeted. And the physical confrontations, being undercut, hacked, openly taunted, went way beyond what one might expect from standard competitive play. This treatment led to widespread debate within the basketball community, raising understandable questions about the nature of competition and the fine line between aggressive defense and direct bullying. Fans and commentators have been pretty vocal, with many pointing out that while physical play is part of the game, the type of targeting Clark has faced seems over the line. And this intensified during a game against the Chicago Sky. Kennedy Carter hit Clark hard enough to warrant an upgrade of the foul to a flagrant.
I mean, that's clearly a foul.
But consider the stakes for a moment. Imagine the scenario where Clark suffers a serious injury from an aggressive play like this. If Clark were forced to sit out until the playoffs, the ripple effects would be immediate and pretty severe, not just for her team, but for the entire NBA. A sudden plunge in ratings and ticket sales, all of which have been surging thanks to her electrifying presence on the court, by the way. Currently, attendance has soared by 40%, and while Angel Reese is a tremendous talent, the skyrocketing interest in the WNBA is not solely her doing, despite what she or anyone else might think. But despite this aggressive play, Clark's response on the court was professional. She converted the free throw awarded from the foul and played a crucial role in Indiana Fever's narrow victory, finishing the game with 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Like I said, a professional. Meanwhile, Carter's coach minimized the severity of the incident, and Carter herself maintained that her actions were part of competitive sports.
Kind of on the play before bumping in with Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit after the Fever
I
score.
didn't answer no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough.
Emphasizing that post-game, it was all love. However, the broader implications of such incidents are pretty significant, especially in the context of the WNBA's public image and growth. NBA legend Charles Barkley stated this:
"Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes. Listen, what she's accomplished, give her flowers."
And look, this is not the first time Clark has faced tough physical challenges on the court. She was also on the receiving end by a pretty hard screen by Breanna Stewart earlier in the season. Such initiation rites are commonplace in professional sports. I get it. They're often seen as a way to test the strength of the newcomers. And just as the giants of the NBA like MJ, Bird, Magic Johnson once faced their welcome to the league challenges, Clark is navigating her rites of passage in the WNBA. The Bad Boys Detroit Pistons famously tested Jordan with their physical play, and now Clark is experiencing her version of this initiation. And part of that is Clark's introduction to professional basketball being marked by a cult-like following and sponsorship deals that are unprecedented in the league's history. One of her contracts alone with Nike is reported to be worth up to $28 million, nearly double the total annual payroll of the entire WNBA. This stark income gap also puts a glaring target on her back. back, highlighting the economic inequalities within the sport. But what Cece has brought to the WNBA and women's basketball at large can only be described as transformative and empowering. Yet, the backlash she faces is baffling and kind of disheartening too. It's not just from the current players, but from legends like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird, which adds a layer of disappointment. And this criticism often seems less about her play and more about other factors, such as her age and her background. She is a young, white woman who's not just participating, she's dominating. And it's a narrative that some find unsettling. And I get it. For many established stars, the rise of Clark has been challenging to accept. These players who have been long at the peak of women's basketball suddenly find themselves overshadowed by a newcomer, regardless of her talent. This shift is difficult, creating mixed feelings of being overshadowed and perhaps for some a sense of fading relevance in the league that they once dominated. And adding to this tension is the disparity in endorsements. Clark has quickly become the face of lucrative deals, which traditionally might have gone to more established players. There's also a perceived racial double standard here as well that complicates the narrative. Many players, particularly the black athletes who have historically led the charge in the WNBA, feel that the media and sponsors favor Clark due to racial biases. They argue that a black player with similar talents and achievements might not receive the same level of praise, and they kind of have a point. But Clark is a unique phenomenon in basketball, a once-in-a-generational talent who, pre-professional buzz, could only be compared to that of LeBron James. And like LeBron, she's facing intense scrutiny and pressure early in her career. However, unlike the NBA, which had already been solidified as a premier league by legends like Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, the WNBA is still kind of carving out its stature in global sports. Clark's presence and impact offer the potential to elevate the league's profile in ways previously unimagined, something that everyone will benefit from. And now, after enduring repeated instances of aggressive play and what some would call bullying, Clark has decided enough is enough. Her response? To showcase her deep talent and turn adversity into triumph. As the rivalry between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky continues to intensify, Clark once again found herself at the center of a controversial play. During a recent matchup, as Clark drove toward the basket for a layup, Angel Reese made a pretty questionable attempt at a block and an aggressive foul on Caitlin Clark. She swung her arm, striking Clark directly in the head in an action that seemed more personal than strategic. The move was harshly criticized as being overly aggressive and indicative of jealousy towards Clark's rising star in the WNBA.
Foul, I believe, to Angel Reese. Yep, across the head, and they will go to the monitor to review this one.
The incident was reviewed by officials who correctly identified the foul as a flagrant one. True to her character though, Clark didn't let this aggressive play disrupt her focus or determination. She converted the free throws and continued to lead her team with poise and resilience. Following the foul, Clark showcased her growing defensive ability too, a skill that has been under scrutiny since her rookie season began. With the game drawing to a close and less than 6 minutes on the clock, Clark faced off against Chicago's leading scorer, Mabry. As Mabry tried to utilize a screen set by Cardosa to create shooting space, Clark demonstrated her improved defensive tactics. Rather than taking the easier route around the screen, she opted to confront the challenge head-on. She navigated over the screen and executed a clean block on Mabry's attempted three-pointer, solidifying her role not just as an offensive threat, but also as a competent defender.
Good stuff. She's needed a game like this. Her last four, shooting 29% from three, gets blocked by Clark.
Clark's performance against the Chicago Sky was a demonstration of her resilience. She dropped a game-high 23 points on an efficient 7 for 11 shooting, including 3 three-pointers. Her nearly triple-double performance with 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocked shots was a clear message to anyone doubting her capability and spirit. But these repeated incidents where Clark has been targeted with rough plays suggest an attempt by opponents to intimidate her, perhaps hoping to disrupt her game or make a statement. However, these actions intended to weaken her seem only to strengthen her determination and focus. Clark's approach to the game emphasizes sportsmanship and professionalism, and despite the aggressive tactics employed against her, she remains a team-centric player. Her ability to rise above provocation and continue to perform at an elite level highlights her mental toughness and competitive spirit. She's not just a participant in the WNBA. She's a standout performer who reshapes how the game is played through her skills. After each game, regardless of the physicality or intensity, Clark makes it a point to acknowledge the effort of her opponents, showcasing her respect to the game and those who play it. This blend of fierce competitiveness, high-level performance, and genuine sportsmanship makes her not just a player to watch, but a role model who represents how to face adversity with grace and tenacity. And her ability to shut down bullies and dominate on the court keeps proving that true talent cannot be overshadowed by unsportsmanlike conduct. And her arrival in the WNBA has not just been a boon for her team, the Indiana Fever, but for the entire league. Her presence has led to a 200% increase in revenue and an 80% hike in ticket prices for Fever games. This kind of transformation is unique in the league's history. Clark has not only elevated the game's profile, but has also significantly broadened its appeal too, drawing in crowds and viewership that the WNBA has long hoped to attract. And now, people who have never before watched a WNBA game are tuning in with enthusiasm. The phenomenon of Caitlin Clark has turned casual observers into devoted fans, expanding the league's audience dramatically. Last year, the average viewership for games was 462,000. This year, those numbers have soared to 1.32 million. And this spike in viewership is directly linked to CeCe's dynamic play and charismatic presence on and off the court. What she brings to the table goes beyond her statistical contributions. She brings a level of excitement and engagement that has reshaped the entire sport. Her compassion and dedication to the game resonates with fans, making her not just a phenomenal athlete, but a powerful ambassador for women's basketball. And as the WNBA continues to grow and evolve with Clark at the forefront, it's clear that the league is on a trajectory to enjoy sustained success and popularity, all thanks to a rookie who is quickly becoming a legend. However, despite her monumental success and impact on the sport, Clark faced a surprising setback. She was not selected for the USA Women's Olympic basketball team, a decision that stirred a little bit of controversy given her outstanding performances. And this omission not only robbed her of the chance to play on one of the world's biggest stages this summer, but also started a broader conversation about her place and recognition in the sport. Clark is more than just a rookie with a knack for hitting long-range shots. She has become a symbol of excellence and resilience in women's basketball. Her ability to draw crowds and generate excitement is reminiscent of Olympic legends like Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt, athletes who transcended their sports to become global icons. In this light, Clark's absence from the Olympic team is not just a loss for her, but a missed opportunity for the sporting world to embrace a new heroine. Away from the Olympics, while Clark continues to dazzle on the court, the intensity of the competition has escalated, particularly with Angel Reese, making a thrilling chapter in WNBA history. This rivalry, highlighted in the intense matchups between Clark and Reese, is redefining the WNBA's landscape. It's more than just a battle for points or victories. And as we watch these young stars carve out their own legacies, one thing is clear: Caitlin Clark is not just playing the game, she's changing it, challenging her WNBA bullies, and setting a new standard for what it means to be a powerhouse in women's basketball. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought down in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the episode if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.